Ach, not der samurai.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today we are gonna have a look at this dad's platinum journey of Ghost of Tsushima. This is a PS5 title. We're gonna be going through the director's cut, and I cannot wait to talk about this game. Let's get on with the show. Right, let's talk a little bit about this game, shall we? So Ghost of Tsushima was developed by Sucker Punch. If you're not familiar with them, they did the Sly Cooper and Infamous series back around the sort of the PS3/PS4 era. But once that was done, they were looking to change things up slightly with a new IP. They had a few ideas on the table, but they knew they wanted an open world to go through. And one of their ideas was actually a pirate-themed one. I wonder how that would have turned out. But anyway, they had a look and they sort of really settled on the sort of Tsushima Island story from back in the day in Japan. They got themselves some localization experts, some historians, to make sure that they, created something authentic, but they wanted a fictional story that they could kind of just sort of pop into that world and create something really special there. So this game was released over on the PS4 on the 17th of July of 2020, and the build we're seeing now, the PS5 Director's Cut, was released about a year later on the 20th of August of 2021. Now this game, as of time of recording, has sold about 8 million copies, and now that is incredible. We're going to be seeing a PC release coming soon, and I can see it hitting over the Big Ten. I really can, and it's such a massive achievement for these guys over there. In terms of its scoring, in terms of its reviews, it scored an 83 on the PS4 and an 87 up on the PS5. So perhaps maybe the extra sort of fidelity or performance really kind of boosted up its scores there. Now the reviewers were praising its story, its characters, its world, its gameplay, combat. Everything about it was just absolutely incredible. And also its sort of art direction and its music, and those two of which won multiple awards across the board here. Maybe it should have won Game of the Year. That's another conversation, but it was definitely a high contender for that. This is just an absolute masterpiece of a game. Now, in terms of its sort of development, it was really well developed. There weren't really too many issues to talk about. There was one change that they did have to make in terms of its sort of East and West releases. So over in the West, where we sort of got this game, we'd have got the haikus, which will probably, all well and know. Over in the East, in Japan, they changed them to a sort of waka. And I want to get that right, and do correct me if I am wrong, but they're sort of spelled W-A-K-A, and because of the sort of localization, they preferred that, like, for the time period, over the haiku. So that was just the one sort of major change that they did. Now, coming on to the PS5 version here that we're looking at, now, you've got your normal mode changes, your fidelity or your performance. You choose which one you prefer. We all have a preference. Myself, I'm a performance guy. I like to have the extra sort of FPS. That's kind of like my thing. I like to have that. But obviously you choose which one you prefer. I'm pretty sure this game looks incredible in 4K. I'm sure it does. Obviously you've got your haptic feedback. The haptics on this are insane. Other than sort of like, sort of Ratchet, even then, I would say the haptics on this are just amazing. They are so good. You really get a feel for that controller. Also, the adaptive triggers, like on the sort of arrow pulls and things like that, really, really cool. It's a really awesome experience on that. So the DualSense is such an immersive tool, and I love using it. It's such a great controller. It really is. You've also got things like the lip syncing as well for the Japanese dialogue. So you had a Japanese dialogue on the PS4 base version, but they added the lip sync in so you can actually have that sort of cinematic experience with it. And you know what? It's so cool. Like, it's really cool. If you haven't already, go back and check it out. Like, just the intro. Just do it like that sort of opening fight scene. It's really, really awesome. Last couple of bits before I kind of get myself sort of out of here, moving on to a trophy list. This game was announced, actually, to be having a movie release, which is really exciting. So we're going to get that cinematic experience, and hopefully we're going to get, something special out of that as well. Alright then team, let's take a little look, shall we, at our trophy list. Right, here we are, team. We're going to have a little look at the trophy list here, just so we can have a scroll down and have a little bit of look at what we need to do to get that elusive platinum trophy for this game. So as you can see, we need to get 2 golds, 9 silver, and 40 bronze. So I actually quite like the fact that we're going to get a little more silver and a couple of golds in there. It's nice that we can kind of get that good split through the trophies. Now the first few that we're going to see scrolling through here, and I'll try to be quick as they run down. It's not so I avoid some sort of story spoilers there for you. You're going to get 11 bronze trophies for completing what we'll say is the golden path through the game. So it'll be the bare minimum that you'll get if you just beeline the story. And you will get your first gold trophy, or one of your gold trophies, from finishing the main quest line. Okay? Now, as you can see now, we're going to be getting some silver trophies here. Now, these are located around the Tales series. So this is like the main side quest, and these are really, really worth doing because they involve a lot of the main side characters within the story here. You got Norios, you got Lady Masakos, you got Ishiwakas, you got Yunas, and you've also got Mystic quests as well. And you know, these quest lines about nine sort of missions deep, and they spread them out through the game. So you do it through in the first area, then the second area, then the third area, and it kind of comes to some lovely conclusions. So they're really good to go through, and it enables you to really kind of get to know some of the other characters that are involved within the game itself, and it adds some really good character depth to it. So once you've completed that, you've got the Complete Tales gold trophy as well, and that's also completing all of the other side quests, the little ones that you kind of might find helping out various people. So onto some battle ones here. You've got ones on the previous screen which for some parries, really easy. You've got shooting a terrified enemy with an arrow. That's really fun to do anyway. The maximum amount of enemies with a single standoff, I'll show you how to do that. You need a specific setup for that. Staggering enemies, really simple. You're going to do that in the game, so it's a pretty easy one to do. And then when you start completing the map or clearing the map up, there's jewels around the maps. So again, you'll come across those, and they are super fun. Love the jewels. Really, really great stuff. This one is an interesting one. I'll show you what I did for this, but it's by killing somebody by knocking them off a cliff or an edge by fall damage. And it's a silver trophy. It's more challenging than you think because you don't always think about it in battle, and most of the lands are relatively like flat when you're fighting. So find somewhere to knock them off. Killing enemies in ghost stance, again, I'll show you what that looks like. It's so much fun. So cool. You'll get ghost stance later on in there. Leveling up your character, you know, and by getting the stances, that's through defeating larger enemies. You'll unlock that. If you just start clearing the map, you'll unlock those. So really good. Again, upgrading your character here, you'll get all the ghost weapons. So again, as you progress the game, you're going to get this stuff. Upgrading your sword. I'll sort of show you what materials that you need, but there's a good strategy to helping you with that. And again, equipping the charms in all 6 slots. So again, once you start clearing the map, you'll have access to all the slots. You better fill them in. Collecting some gifts, you have to do that as well. Collecting some vanity gear. The lighthouses around Tsushima. Again, when you start clearing the map, you'll start to get that. The Umage Cove is another area that you do have to go to for side questing. So you'll end up finding it. The shrines, again, that's another another thing that you can do in the game. Really, really good stuff. That's the climbing sort of sections where you go all the way up to the mountain and you have a shrine to pray at, and you're going to get some items there. These hidden altars, I'll show you these in the strategy video, but essentially they are little bow signs and you will find them. But the game doesn't actually tell you these. So it's something that I discovered a little bit later on. The Pillars of Honor, again, you'll find one of these pretty simple. You've got the black and white die merchants. I'll show you where those are so you can sort of see where you get them from. The Legendary Thief is a good one. I'll show you what you need for that. You better find that. The play of the song at a friend's grave, again, it's one of those ones where it doesn't specifically say where this is or what it is, you know. So I'll try and show you where you need to do that. Photo mode there. The records. Now we get to look at the collectibles here, because you don't actually need to collect everything in the game, which I think is a good idea. It's about half of the records and artifacts that you need. So again, I'll show you a little strategy as to how you can find it a little bit more easier without having to kind of look up guides and stuff like that. The rest of this is basically finishing maps. Another silver trophy, which is really cool because I actually loved going around doing all this stuff. I love clearing the maps on these things. I'm quite a completionist. So going around doing these, like the hot springs, the haikus, the shrines, bamboo strike. I was like, yeah, let me just do all the stuff in the game. So it does actually ask you to do everything to 100% the map, pretty much. The rest of these trophies are essentially for like clearing the map in terms of the enemies. So when you've got the game, you'll sort of travel around, you'll come across territories that are enemy like bound. You have to go in there and clear them out, and then once you clear them, the map will open up even further. But once you go around, you'll get a trophy for clearing half of it, and then you'll get another trophy for basically clearing the whole area. Some of them aren't accessible until you've actually defeated the sort of boss area, and then more of the map will open up, and then you'll see any bits that need to be like sort of liberated, shall we say. So don't worry too much if you're going around trying to liberate the whole thing. I would finish up the area and then do a bit of a cleanup there afterwards. But basically you're going to get yourself a wicked silver trophy for clearing the whole map of that. So yeah, driving the Mongols out, that's that. Alright, so that's a quick rundown of the actual trophies themselves. I'm going to show you now a bit of strategy as to how to tackle them all together now. Right everybody, it's time for some platinum strategy, and we're going to talk about, first of all, is the mission trophies. Yes, we are. These trophies aren't going to be really that difficult to kind of go through. You're just going to be very clearly marked up on the map, but there's a little bit of strategy involved here. So let's talk about the map first of all. The map is broken up into 3 main areas, and each area is going to have like a little sort of like main sort of boss area located with a red marker around there. There's going to be some gold missions that are going to lead you towards that mission itself. So obviously you're going to be taking those down, and you're going to be earning yourself some bronze trophies as you progress through that, and obviously you're going to get your gold once you've completed the main game. No spoilers. Now, in each area, before you kind of get to that, there's going to be the tails. They are going to run through the entire game here as you work your way north through the island. There's going to be about 3 tails per character in each area as you kind of work your way. So it's nice, it's kind of broken up. You get a bit of the story, do a few missions for them, and then the story kind of drops, and then you kind of pick it back up again. So it's lovely that it does that, and they are super worth doing as you progress through. So I do recommend you get those done, get those tackled as you intertwine them, let's say, with your main missions. Now, these other missions are the ones that you could indeed, you know, kind of like sprinkle here or there, or do whatever you want with them. You have your own strategy. Now, they are just the main side quests. They're just the typical, you know, white little diamond. You'll come across them, you know, some person in a shack needs some help, yeah? You're going to get these. So you'll find these in 1 or 2 ways. You'll find one just by generally roaming around, and it will sort of pop up, and then you'll be like, oh, what do you need? The other way is once you've finished all the story missions and the tales in the area, and you go do the main boss, once you complete that, what then happens is then the area then goes and opens up, and you'll be able to see question marks all over the map, and as you go around to clean up, you'll be able to find some side quests. So you can either do that and tackle them there and then, and in my experience, that's what I did. I've got that sort of, I see question marks, I need to go around and find out what they are. But you can leave them if you do so choose, and then you can come back and get them a little bit later. It's up to you. Now, once you've finished the tales, and this will only happen once you reach the 3rd area up in the north, once you've completed them, each Tales series that you complete is going to earn you a silver trophy. Pretty simple. There's also mystic quests that again are scattered around the world. Some of them are quite long and you know, quite broad in what they need to get you to do. But again, they're going to give you some extra like skills, weapon abilities, some armor, that sort of thing. Really, really good to do. You do need to do those because again, all of those completed earns you another silver trophy. And then once you've completed every single side quest, so you will need to do them all, so it's up to you when you tackle that, you're going to earn yourself that second gold trophy for completing all the missions in the game. Now I'm going to give you a little bit of early strategy here, a little tip. Very early on in the game, you'll be tasked from Yuna to help to rescue her brother, Taka. I recommend going to go do this, because what he then does is basically craft you a grappling hook, which you can then use in the open world. Particularly for like a lot of the shrines require you to have that in order to climb up. Because the amount of times I would be just roaming around the map because I didn't want to do the missions, because I wanted to find stuff, and then I got to one and it was like, you do not have the equipment to complete this side, and I was like, oh, what do I need? So it's a really good idea to do that first, and then you can then explore if you do so choose to be able to get up those shrines. But that's my little tip on there for you. Let's move on to some battle related trophies. Oh yeah, these are really wicked fun to go through. The first trophy we're going to talk about is all about the perfect parry. It's an awesome ability to learn. You will need to unlock it, so once you get the ability to do that, go ahead and unlock this. So when you're in obviously a fight with anybody, make sure you're timing that L1 to perfection. As soon as you see that strike coming in, get that parry in. You'll get a nice opportunity to hit a counter attack straight afterwards, any sort of square or triangle move, and basically kill that enemy directly afterwards. If you're not getting this, particularly if you're on a harder mode and you're not obviously killing enemies very quickly, you may need to sort of upgrade your sword a little bit, which we're going to talk about later. But I played this on easy mode, so the enemies were dying fairly quickly, so I got this quite early on in my playthrough. The next one is shooting a terrified enemy with an arrow. Now, how do you terrify an enemy? Well, there's a few different ways this is going to happen, but eventually these people are going to start getting scared of you. So it happens for a variety of reasons inside battle. They could be poisoned, or you could turn up in a scary outfit and go boo. You could do perfect parries that does that, ghost stance, which we'll talk about in a minute. There are many reasons why the enemies start basically freaking out, and you'll know when they're doing it because they'll be like, "Argh!" Once this happens, they'll start running. Get your bow out, get yourself positioned up, and just kill them. There you go. Trophy earned. It's actually quite satisfying, to kind of go ahead and do that. I never leave enemy to run away. They all have to go. The next one is actually about achieving the highest sort of standoff kill streak, which is 5. There's a couple of things that you need to do to be able to do this. One, you need to be able to unlock the sort of standoff upgrades to be able to get it up to 3. And then you need to get the Sakai clan outfit, which you'll get in a story related mission. But you have to basically upgrade that armor. So if you are using resources, that's a good one to put them into, to be able to increase the streak up to 5. Once you get yourself into a base, so again, don't leave this too late where you're running low on enemies. Go in somewhere where there's plenty of enemies, and you're going to get a 5 kill streak on there, and you will unlock this trophy pretty nicely. This next one is for staggering 50 enemies. It's not a particularly difficult one to do, particularly once you get all the stances, and you'll get them fairly early on if you start clearing the map up pretty quickly. Yeah, the easiest one for me was like the shield guys. You get yourself in your shield stance. You learn that after a few different bases you take down. You get the shield guys coming out. You whack a triangle button and it staggers them, and then they're pretty much like you get that trophy nice and easy. I got it fairly early on, so it's not a too bad one to do. This next one is a little bit more tricky, and if you don't pay attention and you don't get this, you're going to have to probably end up starting a new playthrough just to get this trophy. So you need to be aware of this one. This is by killing an enemy by full damage. Now there's a nice couple of ways that you can do this. The one that I chose is the shoulder charge. Just basically run at somebody, charge into them, they go flying. off the screen, and hopefully they'll be able to die by falling off or something. The full damage that I use is pretty pathetic, but most of the areas that you kind of battle around are quite flat. So if you do come across somewhere where you can push them off, do it. Just do it. Get the silver trophy, and then you can kind of relax and don't worry about it. So this is probably the hardest one, battle related, that you're gonna come across. The last one is by defeating 20 enemies in ghost stance. Now I was a little bit confused by this one because I was like, well, I've got all the stances, what is this ghost stance all about? Don't panic. It's an automatic story related mission where you achieve this ability, and oh my goodness, is this so much fun. Now you get ghost stance by basically defeating enemies without getting hit. So again, playing on easy, it's not that difficult. You start defeating enemies and then it starts to rank up your ghost stance. Once you get it, you press the L3 and R3 and then boom, everything goes dark and you just start one-hitting things. You start chopping limbs off. It's incredible. It's so much fun. And I was just killing enemies left, right. So you can only do like, I think like 3 enemies in a ghost stance. So try and pick some big boys to do it on. But yeah, once you've done it a few times, you'll just get a trophy for using it. But you know what? You'll be doing this all day long. So much fun. Let's move on for some more trophies. Right, next we are going to be talking about clearing the map trophies. This is a fantastic but a dense open world of stuff to do, and in my experience this is one of the best open worlds that I've ever played, ever experienced. It is fantastic, and please go out your way to go and explore in this island. It's amazing. We're going to start and talk first of all about liberating Tsushima Island. Now we do this by tackling down the Mongol territories that are located around the map. Once you've completed half of them within an area, you'll get a bronze trophy. Then you'll get another bronze trophy for completing all of them in that area. Once you've completed all 3 of the areas of Tsushima Island, you'll then get a lovely silver trophy for doing the whole thing. Fantastic stuff. Now, you'll come across these Mongol territories, 1, by just general exploration, and 2, you'll be able to see them all located once you've finished all the missions in that area. So I actually do recommend that you do that. There's a couple of reasons for that. 1, some of the Mongol territories are story related. So I had an experience a couple of times when I was going around the map. I found somewhere where I could go, but it wouldn't let me in, and it just kills you instantly. So if that happens, don't panic. It's a story related place. You'll get to it, and then you'll be able to come back later and finish off there. The other reason as well is some of them don't actually get located for you until you've actually finished the main story. So it's not actually worth really kind of going around too much, because you're going to be able to just go around and do some more anyway. So while you're completing those, I recommend using the Traveler's Attire, particularly fully upgraded, because when you complete that like Mongol territory, if you've got that outfit on, it will unlock more of the map. It'll go like that, and you'll be able to see all the question marks located around it for a much wider, wider area. Whereas if you don't, it's quite small and it's not really that well worth doing. So do make sure that you go ahead and do that. Now, you are going to start seeing question marks all over the place. Now, if you're anything like me, you're going to have to try and find out what these question marks are, and you're going to want to try and basically do all of them. There's only really one that it doesn't ask you to fully complete. So there's going to be things like hot springs, haikus, Inari shrines, which is the fox dens, bamboo strikes, Pillar of Honor, which you only need to find 1 of. Don't know why that is, but yeah. There'll be some duels kind of located around. We'll go into those in a little bit. There'll be some side tales, Shinto shrines, and there'll be lighthouses as well. So there's so much to really kind of like go around and explore and just find out what's there. My other tip as well when you're going into these Mongol territories and other like encampments that you'll find around the map is again using the traveler's attire, particularly when it's fully upgraded, because you'll find records and artifacts, particularly when you're around there. Now, you only need to find 20 of each of these in order to unlock the trophies. So again, if you start using this as an early piece of equipment and attire that you're going to wear, once you get the trophies, you can then sort of start to change it up. Or if you're in a sort of like a big fight, you might want to change your setup for that fight or stealth section, however you want to do it. But I do recommend as a good tip to use that, and the controller starts vibrating when you're near one of those artifacts or records. It's better pick those up. There's another tip that I'll use as well, particularly again while you're going around these encampments, while you're going around these Mongol territories, is you'll want to start picking up resources. So these resources, you can actually get more of them if you go and get yourself the Charm of Inari, which is up onto the shrine here. You'll be able to locate that, and it's a good thing to try and get very early on, so you can get as much resources as possible to kind of help with your upgrades. The only thing that there's really a trophy related to the upgrade is your sword. Mainly need the metals, and you will get things like gold and that later on from completing a lot of the missions later. So don't worry about it too much if you're running low on things like that. Just be patient. You'll get the materials that you need kind of by naturally progressing through the game. Right. With that said, you're going to be obviously playing through the game and naturally upgrading your character. Now the upgrade related trophies are very, very simple. You'll just naturally progress through. You'll get the title of Ghost of Tsushima. That is your final unlock and your final level that you'll reach. Learning all the stances, pretty easy stuff. Once you start taking down the generals inside the Mongol territories, which you have to do anyway, you'll start unlocking all of the stances. Really, really simple stuff. And again, by completing these territories and doing missions and all that sort of stuff, you'll be able to get skill points. There's not too much that you have to unlock apart from the things that are sort of spoken about, so feel free to do them as you wish, but do try and get the ghost weapons quite early because they are very useful for you to be able to kind of use in battles and to help with your stealth. They're really, really useful, so it's well worth like taking the time to kind of get those unlocked for you. Going through some of the side stuff here, there's a few other trophies that are related to that. So once you've done enough fox dens or the Inari sort of shrines, you'll be able to equip the charms and start equipping them. Again, due to playstyle, choose the charms that kind of fit your playstyle, but once you have equipped 6, you'll get a trophy for doing that. Collecting gifts at the altars, you'll get a notification when there's gifts available. Just the one here, you can fast travel to it. You'll be able to see very simply, better to go get some there. To get some vanity gear, you need to get 30 pieces of gear. You will naturally get that from going to Pillars of Honor, so you can choose to do more of them to get them, or do the haikus, and you'll get pieces of equipment obviously through doing story related missions as well. If you're collecting flowers, save them as much as possible because you're going to need them a little bit later on for when you find the black and white merchants, because you need to purchase a piece of equipment from both of them. So use the flowers that you find on those. Completing all the lighthouses, you need to light all of those. You'll naturally find the Amagi Cove. I don't know how you pronounce that. Please correct me if I'm wrong. It's a natural place that you'll go to on the map. Completing all the shrines. Now this last one here is just bowing to the hidden altars. They look like this. So once you find a sign with the bow symbol on it, nothing in the game tells you to do this. So when you find them, start bowing. It took me a while to realize this. I wasn't too sure what I was exactly looking for until I sort of looked up what exactly, and then I realized what I was trying to do. The last thing I'll talk about is the duels. They can come up from various means. There's a whole bunch of duels you need to do. They're boss fights. They turn up in Mongol territories. There might be a duel sense like sort of thing there. Mythic quests, side tales. Generally in the open world, they'll come up as question marks for you. So there's a whole bunch of duels that you need to basically go around and clear up. But essentially, that is the sense of open world that you're going to be looking to go through and do. And we're going to move on to just a few more trophies to clean up. Right, we are closing in on that platinum. And if you haven't already, there's just a few sort of clean up trophies that are just needed at the end here. First one is a photo mode. So this was added in, I believe, on the director's cut. So if you went up to the PlayStation 5, you'll probably find that not all the trophies popped. This will be the only one that you need to do. Just go into photo mode, and do you know what? Like, this game cries out photo mode. I was never really much of a photo mode guy, but every time you turn around, this game has a real good habit of just presenting you with a breathtaking view of here's something lovely to look at for a few minutes. It was such a wonderful experience. So yeah, photo mode, boom, I could have got this trophy, 100 times over. This next one is, it's a small story spoiler, so do be aware of this. I'll try and edit this as much as I can. But you have to play a song, which is Lament of the Storm, which you only need to get 5 singing crickets to be able to unlock. You'll find these singing crickets very easily in cemeteries. So if you ever find yourself in one, you'll hear them, but also if you use the Traveller's Attire, that will locate where they are for you. So get 5 of them and then use the song. You need to travel to this location here, and there is a waypoint that takes you straight to it, but just play the song and you get yourself the trophy. Nice and easy. Now this last trophy, this is a certain setup in terms of attire that you need to have, and it's based around a really cool sort of Easter egg, I suppose, from the Sucker Punch universe, and you're dressing up as Sly Cooper, the sort of thief extraordinaire. You need to get yourself the Sly Tanuki, which is the sword sort of die that's found here. You'll need to get the Crooked Karma headband, which is located in this location here. The Thief's Wrap, which is actually a story getup. You get that from a gift at the altar, so once you start doing it, it's an easy pickup. You need to get the, I want to get this right, is it Gosaku's armor? I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. It's a mythic tale, so again, when you're working your way through them, you'll get this piece of armor, and you also need to pick up the Ocean's Guardian die, which you can buy at a merchant. So again, make sure you've got flowers available so you can pick up the die needed for that armor. Once you've selected everything down onto there, get yourself back into the open world, and the trophy is going to pop lovely there for you. But that is everything. That is all the trophies that are needed. There's a bit of strategy involved. It's a lovely open world game. I'm hoping you can sort of tackle this and get things done nicely, and I've provided some nice tips for you to go through. But that's the Platinum experience. Congratulations everyone on your Platinum trophy there. We're going to take a step back now and just take a review of the game and its Platinum trophy. So I won't do a full synopsis of every little detail here, but I'm just going to go over some sort of main talking points of the story itself. But after I finished this game, I can honestly say that my experience with this story was just, it's a cliche, but it was such a roller coaster of emotion. It really was. I actually streamed the whole thing, so if you want to check out my sort of live reactions to everything going on, I will leave a link down below to the rest of the playlist. You can go and check it out over there. But like, seriously, there were so many moments throughout this entire story that just hit me like a ton of bricks. It would just boom, just throw something at me, and I was just, most of the time my head was just in my hands, just contemplating what had just been told to me, like, throughout this. So I'm not going to go through any spoilers or anything like that, but it's a really, really sort of like big experience as you go through the entire story. The game being open world, it allows you to provide the ability to control the pacing a lot. If you want to kind of like go through and get the story, you have the opportunity to go and do that. You then have the opportunity, when you want to, you can kind of break off and do some of the tales. You can go see what some of the side characters are doing as and when through the story. You can go tackle some other missions, some side quests. You can just, if you feel like your character just needs a bit of downtime, you can just walk around, play your flute, go find some fox dens, go pray at some shrines. You have the ability to kind of control when you want the up and down, like, to go through this. So it's quite nice that you can be able to do that and have that little bit of freedom to kind of go ahead and do it. Jin, as a character, as the game progresses, he definitely feels more fleshed out the further along you get with him. He doesn't necessarily feel that way at the start, but the more you kind of develop and you grow alongside him, you really feel like you become the ghost with him. That's sort of how it sort of feels like. The Khan, he's a perfect antagonist. He provides plenty of motivation for you to just stick your blade right in there. Just watch him choke on his own blood. Oof, sorry about that, it's a dark moment. But yeah, you really hate that guy. So the rest of the characters, the side characters, they all feel so important. Even just people in the villages, you really care for them. It really makes you feel like you're really out there to kind of like help and save everybody that you can. And you're really making a difference to people's lives, and it really comes across like that. I especially love Yuna. I think she is amazing. I love the dynamic between her and Jin. Her Tales series by far for me was like the most enjoyable to go through. I really love that. But overall, this story is just incredible. If you haven't already, please go and experience it for yourself. We're going to talk first of all with its combat here. Now, I played this on PS5. I ran this on performance mode because I just love the 60 FPS. I really do. Everyone's got their preference, but you know what? I really sort of felt that extra responsiveness in the movement, switching stances, getting at your bow and arrow when there's a terrified enemy, the throwing of the ghost weapons, the parrying in this game. I love just waiting like for the attack to come in and boom, the time slows down, and it's so satisfying, like kind of getting that finishing blow into the enemies. You feel like a samurai playing this game. You feel like you're feeling out the opponent, working through what tactics are going to work best for this enemy, switching the stance, moving into position, throwing a little kind of like samurai weapon in there, waiting for the parry, waiting for the right moment to strike. It's incredible. You just feel like that samurai badass. And as well, you don't have to be. You can play things stealthy, and again, it's so satisfying going around and just being this silent ghost, just going into an encampment and just taking out enemies. You're able to kind of locate where people are. You can sort of tag them and move around, and you've got different assassination points. You can kill them through sort of through doors, around corners, from up above, in the tall grass, assassinating them. Everything just feels so satisfying to do. And oh my word, when you get ghost stance, this thing gets into another level. When that screen goes dark and red and you are chopping limbs off, it is so good. Like, I don't want to spoil it too much because I want you to kind of feel that moment, but when you get it, But you can also, the great thing about it is you can customize your own Jin here. So you've got various outfits. They provide you with sort of different sort of buffs and abilities as you play through. So you can be a little bit more stealthy. You You could be like, you know, a hard-hitting badass with like ultimate power. You could be an absolute tank and just have this heavy armor with like loads of HP. You can also equip charms, so as you go around and you start doing some of this sort of side stuff, you'll get charms. And again, you can kind of equip those to be able to kind of get more buffs in various other things. You can customize your character really, really down to a T. Now the environment, like, you know, gameplay, it kind of centers around the climbing mechanics really. There's a bit of horse riding, which is really, really immersive. It's great. You get a really good sort of sense of feedback from the controller. But the climbing stuff's really good. You get yourself a little bit of a break away from it. It's not a massive amount, but there are sort of like mountains to climb in the world. So there's a little bit of up and down that you can do, particularly around the shrines. Once you get your grappling hook, you're pretty much ready to go. You can do that, but there's not a massive amount, and it's nice. There's a few puzzly bits, but it doesn't break away too much, you know, from you just being able to enjoy, being able to explore. The only thing that I would say is I get annoyed at those damn birds. They come in and they're going to go, oh, look over here, and then I either lose them, or they kind of show me to like a brick wall, but it shows me to a wall that it's like I can't go up there. It doesn't even allow me to climb. Like, it's just ridiculous. So I ended up like just ignoring the birds. I probably shouldn't. They guide you to some really cool stuff, but I couldn't take it anymore. I really couldn't. But if you haven't already, like, you know, I keep saying about the story, the gameplay is just as good, if not better. This is probably the standout part of this game. The story's incredible, but really for me, it's about the feel of being a samurai. Like, that is what this game is about. It makes you feel amazing when you play. I'm going to mention a few things here to do with the sound, because what the sound in this game really does, it just kind of really heightens up the immersion for you, particularly its soundtrack. When you're exploring, it's lovely, calm, peaceful. You know, the flute songs, the birds in the trees, you can hear the foxes out in the wild. It's great. When you get into combat and that score starts building up, and the longer the fight goes on, particularly when you're in a big battle, you know, it's roaring through, it feels like you're in a samurai movie. That's what it really feels like. It's incredible. The sounds in this game, and I'm going to talk about this again, it's the perfect parry. It's that steel on steel, tang, as it comes up. Like, it makes it so much better. Like, everything from the bow and arrow to, you know, hitting up the ghost weapons. It's really, really awesome. Such a grand job with everything. And I want to do a massive shout out to the entire cast, because this cast is insane. I love everybody that's in this. The voice acting, both through the Japanese and the English dialogue, it's incredible. It's such a really, really great job by everybody that's been in this game. It's acted with love and care and attention. Everything is just so well put together. My final thoughts on this game. Ghost of Tsushima, from start to finish, just provides a fantastically well told story. It has, you know, developed characters. It provides depth to a world you want to explore. It has missions that give variety, excitement, thrills. The whole experience was an absolute joy and a pleasure to go through. I mean, you feel like a samurai, and if that is what you were looking for, then this is everything that you need. Right, let's talk about the platinum, shall we? That's what we're here for. It's a platinum journey video. Let's talk about it. So the list, when I look at this, it was a lovely modern open world list. Pretty standardized. You look down there and it's pretty easy to kind of work out what you need to do. For the most part, you know, you've got your missions, your collectibles, you know, combat, exploration trophies. It's all there. And for the most part, was a really relaxing time. I had a grand time playing this game. And for me, the trophies are just lovely in the background. I could just relax and just concentrate on playing this beautiful game. There was only one that caused me a little bit of trouble, and that was the hidden altars. It was only because I explained it earlier in the strategy, but it's just because the game doesn't explicitly tell you kind of what they are. Which I know the game doesn't always have to do that. You know, you can work things out for yourself, but I was really having a hard time trying to figure out what these things were. So I had to look them up a little bit, and that was the only thing that I had to really kind of like go, what are these? And then I was able to kind of figure out what I was looking for and get the trophy. I like the fact that it didn't ask for every single collectible. So once that trophy popped for like the records and the artifacts, I was able to again just relax. I was like, okay, right, I've got those ones, they're done. I don't need to get any more. If I find some, cool. If I don't matter. Yeah. I do actually like as well, as a counterpoint, I do like the fact that it asks you to go to every question mark. I think that's good because, you know, it enables you to kind of fully explore the world. You get to find where all the side quests are from that anyway. What I did find confusing was the fact that it only asks you to find one pillar of honor and not all of them. Like, I'm wondering if there are people that were out there that played the game that went to a question mark, saw that it was a pillar of honor, and then just turned around and went, nah, don't need it. You're going to go to it and pick up the item that's there. So, yeah, I don't know why. That was a bit confusing on the list on my part. I don't know why I didn't ask for all of them. That could have been something that could have just been in there, but never mind. It only asked for one. Here we go. But my favourite trophy by far was the 20 ghost dances. Whew. It was a close second from the parries. The parries were really good as well. I really like that one. But I think for me, the ghost dances, because when you get them, it really helps you change how you play a little bit. You really focus in battle because you have to remain untouched. You can't get hit. So to get the ghost dance, you have to be really great in combat, and then that gives you the ghost dance, and it gives you the satisfaction of chopping off those Mongol limbs. Just boom, arm off, boom, arm off. You know, it's great fun. So for me, that was incredible, and I went beyond it. I could have got 200 kills on Ghost Dance if it would have let me. But there you go, 20 was all it needed. But that was a super fun trophy and really, really well worth the payoff and wait for it. So like I said, I think for me, the game is a masterpiece. It's a damn near perfect game. It super is. The platinum, for me, if I was going to give, it's hard to give this a platinum a score because, and I've sort of settled on a 7. It's been racking through my brain here. The reason why I'm giving it a 7, it's not really because it's like, if it's like boring or dull or anything like that. It's just because what I like about it is because I just relax. I didn't have to worry about the platinum. The trophies were just pop in. I didn't have to go and look. I didn't have to worry about it. What I like about it is that you just get to play the game. And if you're going for this platinum, don't concentrate on the trophies. Just let them be. You know, just relax. There's a few things maybe to worry about, but they will come. Please just enjoy the experience, enjoy the game, get the most out of it. And then you can always do a little cleanup at the end of it if you are. And that was my experience. If you want to see my reactions to it, there'll be a link down below to watch my streams. This was a fantastic experience from top to bottom. Could not ask for anything better. The list was just there. That's all I'll say. The list was just there. But let's hear from one or two other people that have gone through and got this platinum. Right, so we took ourselves over to Twitter to ask you guys what you thought of this game. So, DiggyBoy1991 says, overall, it's one of my favourite games I've played in a long time. never took so many pictures of stunning environments. Soundtrack is also sets a great tone to an engaging story with enjoyable side missions as well. A must play for any gamer. Couldn't agree more there. I also took many more photos. I don't usually take a lot of photos in games, but this one I certainly took my time to do that. At Maverick20132 says, amazing experience, didn't want to put it down. Me neither. Gary Murphy1919 says, fantastic game with a great story. It reminded me of the old Tenchu games years ago. Yeah, I played those, particularly the first Tenchu game. Really fantastic sort of samurai experience there. And yeah, absolutely. At P Tier Games, good friend of the channel, says, best part of the platinum has to be the duels. Squaring off against lone warriors and elegant arena fights that showcase the best aspects of the game's combat. Also, getting to dress up as Sly. Do you know what? I don't think I gave the duels as much love and attention as I should have done in this, because I completely agree, they are outstanding pieces of cinema. Just the way the whole thing sets itself up, it's amazing. Max Quality Games says, this game is everything an Assassin's Creed game could ever hope to be, and more. It's an enjoyable play. The only thing that stops this game from being perfect is the handful of grim dark moments, and even those contribute to the story. And well, yeah, I did say earlier, there's a lot of moments in here that are quite hard to get through. So yeah, if you're a bit squeamish, maybe not for you. At 5 Red Rum says, so much fun. Characters are perfect. Gameplay is smooth. It captures the flow of Japanese martial arts perfectly with different stances. Enjoy taking down enemies for full-on ghost mode. Nice scenery love. Awesome biomes. It kicks ass. It certainly does. Certainly does do that. And finally, we're going to have a special note today. This is our content creator kind of adding in a special little bit of love and attention for this game. We're going to be joined by New Dad Gaming, a real good friend of the channel's. So I'm going to leave their links and that down below. But let's go and check out what these guys had to say about this game.
This is Jeff from New Dad Gaming Podcast here. Thanks to This Platinum for having me on to do a quick rundown of my experience with Ghost of Tsushima and how I obtained the Platinum Trophy. And that is saying something about this game. I do not have many Platinum trophies in my trophy collection at all. I think this is one of maybe 7 in all of my PlayStation games. So that is saying something about this game. This game, I'm sure everybody already knows, it's just this handcrafted world that was done is so beautiful and so creative and so full of life that you just kind of fall in love with it. You don't mind exploring. And even little things that really appealed to me as a gaming dad, just the limited UI of having wind and smoke kind of direct where you are and animals taking you to secret locations is just something so refreshing about that and so easy to take in because it feels less of a game and more of a world. And with the animals, with the mention of the animals, I could play this game with my kids. So I couldn't play the main story quest line because obviously it's a little too violent for them. But the side quest stuff where you follow the animals to Inari shrines and hot springs and haiku locations where my kids could participate, like they were helping me build a haiku, and there's bamboo strikes that they could help do the bamboo strikes with the controller inputs and gave me skills and skill points for my skill tree. So that was something that was really cool about this game, that it could not only appeal to myself as an adult, but I could share something of that with my kids, and they would tell me, what gear to wear and what horse armor to put on. So that was kind of a neat idea too, that there's no, as a gaming dad, I am kind of done with stats for a while, so it was kind of refreshing that you have one sword, you have one set of armor, and anything else is just cosmetic, so you can change it, and yeah, you get like little bonuses, but you don't really have to remember any sort of stats, so that's good. But ultimately, my favorite trophy in this game was the Body, Mind, and Spirit trophy, and that is because of what I mentioned before. All the little tracking the foxes and the birds would lead you to all these shrines and stuff, which would just give me the trophy no problem. That was an easy one to do. And again, this world, again, it was big, but it's not daunting. I think the world and characters grip me so much that it wasn't hard to go through this game. The main quest gets you most of the trophies, and then anything else left over, you can track on your map anyway through charms and stuff. So it's easy to circle back and go and get that stuff. But any of the other trophies, I will watch this platinum and his journey to get all the trophies that I can't get as gaming dad because I just don't have the skills. So I will go watch his streams and live vicariously through him. But thanks again for him to having me on his show. It's once again Jeff from New Dad Gaming, and we're on Twitter at New Dad Gaming, or our website, newdadgaming.com. And of course, we have a weekly podcast that we put out on all the major podcast platforms, wherever you listen, New Dad Gaming. Thanks again, and bye for now. Hope to see you out there in Tsushima.
Thank you again to Jeff over at New Dad Gaming there for sharing your experience of your platinum journey of Ghost of Tsushima, and to everybody else over on Twitter for providing and sharing their thoughts on it as well. That is going to bring this video to a close. Whew, it was a long one today. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Don't forget to check out any of my other videos. I'm going to be sharing a link to the playlist down below. There might be some other games that may very well interest you, and sort of see my experiences with platinums on other things. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'd love to again comment down below your thoughts on the game. I want to sort of see what you guys think, and I'll be able to chat to you there. You can also chat to me on Twitter. I'm over at This Platinum. You can go and follow me. I like to update everything that I'm gaming. You better see all my sort of platinum journeys as they unfold, and also like to share up and talk to you about the latest news in gaming. Alright, so take care everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe and keep hunting those trophies.